Community and Wellbeing Officer. The Community and Wellbeing Officer advocates for and supports student mental health. They will work closely with university support services and champion student wellbeing.
Hello, I'm Sarah Jen and I'm joined here by Lizzie Teixeira, who is running for Community and Wellbeing Officer. Welcome to the studio, Lizzie.
Thanks for having me.
So your first manifesto point is to subsidise food, rent, transport and equipment by expanding financial support services. I was just wondering, can you expand a bit more on what you mean by this?
So I do actually have over 3 years experience in corporate fundraising. So in previous roles, I've successfully gone on to raise essentially £100,000, as well as securing £300,000 for corporate partnerships. I'm quite confident in my skills to be able to do the same in my position at USU. In terms of providing rent subsidies, travel subsidies, that will be kind of a mixture of fundraising and also philanthropic partnerships, many of whom I already know as a scholar at the university. I can kind of build on those relationships and expand them.
Thank you. So you've talked about fundraising. What sort of fundraising would you have in mind?
So there are a lot of tools actually that people can use that they're not even really kind of aware of. Easy fundraising is an example where students who shop online, their family, their friends, just by doing what they already do, shopping, that they can actually donate a portion of that to via easy fundraising. So they won't actually have to pay anything in addition to that. So that's one of the avenues that I'm looking into. Also, there is corporate partnerships. So a lot of like the big four, for example, EY, KPMG, they're quite keen to support social mobility. And I know quite a few different schemes like Upreach, and I personally know some of the CEOs and kind of partnerships directors for that. So I think that would be a really good avenue just to kind of build on my networks and try and see what kind of partnerships and initiatives we can kind of set up from there.
Thank you. So you've talked about wanting to give students rent support. So there are already some rent grants in place. So I was just wondering, how would you intend to improve/change or build on these?
Yeah, so one unique thing that I can actually offer in this role is I'm actually a qualified retrofit professional. So what that means is I can actually go out into student accommodations, have a look around, make a professional recommendation for what measures need to be put in place. So, for example, loft insulation, if that needs to be upped, if it's wall insulation, a boiler replacement, all that kind of thing, I can do that. Usually it costs at least £150 for landlords to do that. A lot of them aren't keen to do that. Surprise. But I can come in, I can offer that for free. And that's eliminating already a barrier to getting existing homes upgraded so that fuel costs get halved, because you don't have to put your heating on quite as much, because the loft insulation is keeping all the heat in your house, keeping you comfortable. And hopefully that will translate into rent being lowered, because I know one issue with rent at the moment for students is it's kind of all bills included, and kind of how transparent that is, how the costs break down, and that isn't very visible. So that's also something that I'd like to kind of work on with landlords, with housing associations, with kind of like local council representatives, to really kind of argue to, in conjunction with the energy efficiency measures, I want to kind of help them push down rent as much as possible. And obviously, university accommodation as well, that can easily be done.
Yeah, thank you. So you say you can offer sort of loft insulation and things to landlords for free. Where do you think you'd be getting the funds for that?
So the retrofit assessment is the first step before we can access like local government grants, voucher schemes. So part of being a retrofit assessor is you know where to look for funding from local councils, local authorities, as well as kind of wider government schemes. So a lot of that will subsidise the entire cost of retrofit entirely as it is.
Thank you. So another point you made in your manifesto is that you want to make sports and gym facilities more accessible to low-income and disabled students. So just wondering what kind of ideas you've got for this.
So we don't have all that much time, but in a nutshell, I have dyspraxia. So I experience on a day-to-day basis how it can be difficult to follow along in classes. So a very kind of quick measure is just having things that are reflective mirrors so that you can kind of see how you're positioning yourself in relation to how you're supposed to. That's an easy fix. What I really think is needed is training.
Thank you. I'm just going to have to cut you off and moving over to Studio Blue now for the next interview, but thank you.